Hey, what's up, everybody, and good morning. This is Carpo on a morning edition of Carpology, if you will. This is what I do. I make videos, even early in the morning. Get up, take my shower, make my cup of coffee. Where's my coffee? Actually, I can't find it. I'm gonna have to grab it. But I do most of my thinking at night and in the morning. So when I was working, I used to post a lot of videos from like 5:36 in the morning because I'd go to my job site and make a video before work. So my thought today was, it's because I'm remembering so many different things I've gone through in many phases. When I was, this time last year, I was working on this house in the West Hills and I was doing this deck, and it's easy to get lost in daily life and forget what we did or what's important, but it's easy to remember when you have a bunch of videos you can flip back through and look at. It's kind of a weird thing. Anyway, I really just wanted to talk about giving, kindness. And I'll do my best to address it without becoming like, droning on for an hour like I always do. It's just something that I've really been thinking about. How, like, when I went out this morning, I thought, the thought occurred to me of someone wanting to help me about something. It's irrelevant what it is, but somebody who offered to help me do something. Let's say it could be anything, and I kindly decline and say, no thanks, I can handle it myself. This is Carpo's way. This has always been my way. I'm very stubborn when it comes to self-reliance. I have no problem sharing my things with people. I like to give, my neighbor came over the other day and he was really hating it, and he needed some weed, so I just gave him a big bag, He's like, no, I want to give you some money. I'm like, no, I want to give it to you because you need it, you're broke, you're hating it, and it'll help you. So when a person's in a situation where they need help and they need something, and I'm able to provide that, and it's someone that I care for, then I'm willing to give that. If it's someone I don't know or don't care about, I shouldn't say that. If it's someone I don't know and don't know about and don't know the person, it's easier for me to draw the line and say, no, I have to keep giving to my own. Just my people, my family, my friends. And I've analyzed this behavior of myself for a long time, asking myself, what is it about sharing, This doesn't mean I don't share with people I don't know. I've given the homeless guys $5 a lot, I've given money to people who need it, and people who have asked, and I've had people who aren't friends or people I don't know ask me for assistance or help in something, and I give it to them. In fact, I've had people send me messages on YouTube, stuff I don't have the time or really want to answer, but I do because I want to help them in some way, even though it may not be helping. Whatever. The point being that sometimes we have something that we can help others with, and we're obligated to do so. But the reason why this came to mind is because a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I started subscribing to the view that if you share everything, if you give away everything, if material possessions become nothing, and your life is about giving and sharing, then everything you need will come to you. And I subscribed to this thought for a while, and I still do. I haven't abandoned the idea, because when I just live and give and just do my thing, everything just floats along. Life is not complicated or difficult. When I resist or I'm selfish, it becomes more difficult. But I've since abandoned the notion that giving everything up to everyone, which would be the path of, say, like a friend of mine, Simon, who we were roommates. Me and him and a couple other people partied out a lot, and then all of a sudden one day he decided he's going to be a Hare Krishna. And he left home and gave up all his worldly possessions, and that's what he needed to do. He ended up overdosing a few years later, and it just led me to think, maybe that wasn't his path, maybe that didn't work for him, but that sometimes, I guess, that by observing him do that and abandon everything, he just left everything in boxes there, we just gave it away or whatever. And that was in the early 90s, and he had like one of those little Palm Pilot things, the early ones that before, where you could like touch the screen. It was an amazing new contraption before computers. I was just like, wow. Anyway, the point being that he made a huge leap, he made a huge decision because he thought that would work, but there was something that didn't work for him. Giving it all up didn't work for him for some reason, and it didn't work for me either, in the sense that you're always going to have people asking you for things. The more exposed you are to society, the more you will have more people wanting your help. So if you hide out in your house and say, I'm just a giving person, sure, you can get away with that. But if you're out there in public and people are asking you for help and money and things, and you have to make a decision of whether or not to share those things. And if a person looks like they don't put forth any effort to help themselves, it's hard for you to want to help them too. In other words, a man who's looking for work is more likely to get money from me than a man who just says, I need a beer. It's just how it is. But I wonder sometimes if, what if I gave it all up? What if I gave away all my worldly possessions, which isn't feasible, being a married man with a family. That's not something I even want to do. But there was a time when I thought I wanted to get rid of everything. I wanted to start fresh. I wanted to clear out everything I owned and just give it all away and start with nothing and not really have much. And I never did. I cleared out a lot of it, but I like my stuff. I like having things, and I have no problem with possessions because they don't own me. But I find myself still kind of being selfish with things. If people ask for something they want, hey, can I have this? And I'm like, no, that's mine, that's mine. I worked for that. And even if it's something I don't use, so I'm learning over the years to keep stuff away. It's only because I've been ripped off by friends and stuff. I've had things stolen from me, and you become protective. So the things that have happened to me in my life affect who I am and how I behave. You would think a person who's been given everything, let's say a person that's rich from youth, would want to give more money away, but you find them giving less away. It's almost like the less money a person has, the more they're willing to give away. It's an interesting thing. It's not always true, but we become trapped by our ownership of things. And I don't really have very much, and I don't buy very much, so keeping it simple and humble for me is the best thing. So I'll let it go at that, because I could go on forever. I always do.